What is going on, everybody? You already know it's Monday. It's 8:30. My name is Paul Smith, and of course, I'm with my man, Josh, Mrs. Josh Showtime. What's going on, Josh?
Man, what's up with you, man? What's been going on?
Good, man. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. This weekend, we had an event called UFC Vegas 94, man. I want to definitely talk about that. What do you have on the plate? What do you want to talk about, too?
I mean, we gotta talk about Jake Paul versus Mike Perry.
Yes, we do. I want to get your thoughts on that. I'm glad you mentioned that, too. And of course, you know what, Josh? I think it's next week. We got a big event here, UFC 304. So, you know what? I'm ready to give my predictions. I don't know about you, but how about we come back in 1 minute, man? Because I'm ready to get the show started, brother.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, welcome to the show with Inside the Octagon. Once again, my name is Paul Spencer. That is Josh Showtime. Josh, let's talk about it, man. Vegas 94. I won't lie, Josh. We text back and forth, and I said, man, I'm not really hyped about this card. But right after I said that, after the first couple matches, you text me right away and says, what did you say to me, Josh?
I was like, hey, that fight was fire. I was like, hey, like us talking negatively, because we both basically was like, man, this car sucks. Like, I mean, the prelims were not great. Like, really,
right.
You were right, but like, it put like a foot in your mouth as soon as you said that. The first fight of the main card, we just see an unloading war of like of a man getting punched 34 times consecutively.
It was 30. What's 34? Yes, it was 34. Was it 34 38 combo? Like, what was it, Josh? It was a lot. Yes, it was. Like, I felt bad because I put it on Twitter. I'm like, man, not really hyped about this card. And as soon as I said that, I'm like, ooh, maybe I want to hit that delete button real quick.
Yeah, man. Listen, every fight after that was crazy. The main card, like, at the end of the day, like, the bigger story is the fact that we're still getting these cards that nobody care about. This card was not important whatsoever. But on the terms of equality, value, like, is it worth your time? Yes. That card was probably the best. Like, that, I'll say main card, because the prelim, like I said, wasn't the greatest. But that main card probably was the best fight night main card we've gotten all year.
Agree. You know, after the prelims, I'm thinking like, okay, you know, you said, you know, finally got a TKO. There's your TKO. You know, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? Wow. Is this just the one fight, or is that it for the night? But let's talk about it. That Amir Hayden fight, 38 punch combo. Like, Josh, we usually see it. You know, he hits him, he gives him time to recover. You know, doesn't attack. But Josh, the word attack, my man, I can't even count that. I can't even count them. I had to go back and just like, was that really a 30 piece? It was a 30 piece.
Yeah, man. Fighters gotta start understanding, man. Like, if you're getting pieced up like that, you better off just falling to the ground and just hell. Like, realistically, like, I understand people want to be warriors, but like taking that many punches to the face, that much damage, it can mess your career up very badly. So like, it's never good. Like, I like to look at chins like a battery, and like, if you keep on wearing that battery out, eventually it's gonna be dead. So I mean, that man took a lot of unnecessary punishment. And the referee couldn't stop it because you were trying to fight back. You were still on your feet, and you know, you took a beating. Like, that was bad.
Yeah, there's times where, just like you said, you know, you got to know when to hold them, basically. You know what I mean, and know when to fold them. My man should have folded it after like the 20. I don't even want to go up to 20 piece, Josh. I mean, you know, you're getting lit up like that. That chin, like that battery. I don't care if you got Energizer batteries at all. That thing was drained right then and there.
I think even at the point of like your brain realizing, like, I'm clearly getting eaten up. Take a shot. Like, even pull guard, brother, get on the mat. Like, you do not want to be standing and you're doing nothing but eating all these punches. It just wasn't a smart decision. But for the fans, good job. I had a good time watching it.
Josh, you've been in the octagon. You're a fighter. Do you think it was just like muscle memory, where you're getting beat so bad that your muscles just saying, you know what, you got to fight back, because that's what the UFC is. That's what MMA is. Protect yourself at all costs. Do you think that was just it's just muscle memory to I got to protect myself, a way to get my hands up and protect, or it was just stupidity on his part, or just I want to say being a UFC warrior to give what you stand for?
It's just being a competitor, man. People don't want to go
Yeah.
down. I mean, it's that simple. People do not want to go down, and it costs them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it in boxing all the time where fighters should take a knee and gather
Yeah.
themselves, but they're so stubborn they stay up and take more damage, and then
Mm-hmm.
they end up getting KO'd. Sometimes like veterans know that, hey, sometimes if I'm rocked and I know I'm like really hurt, I just need to fall down. 8 seconds is way better than me trying to survive and hold and then potentially get KO because my legs aren't there. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, MMA
Agree.
fights the same thing. I mean, it's people are competitive, man. People just don't want to give a person any second or ounce or iota of a win. So that's what that
Agree.
is down to.
Yeah, agree. I mean, a minute and 5 seconds in the first round, Josh. We usually don't see 38 punches thrown in an entire 5 minute round here. In a minute and 5 seconds, 38 punches, a combo,
Yeah.
insane,
I mean,
insane.
that's like twice as many punches as Tank throws per round. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh man, what other match you want to talk about during there? Because there was a couple other ones. Which one do you want to go to?
I mean, realistically, we have a lot more important stuff to talk about. But I would say, if out of all the things we could talk about, we could talk about Korean Superboy and then talk about the main event, because the main event, at least there is some importance to that fight.
True.
Because, I mean, I said Verna. Verna is very, very. She's on a really good win streak, and she's very, very talented. So I mean, she's definitely worth a conversation too. But yeah, outside of that, just like Korean Superboy finally getting the win, or not finally getting the win, but winning. Only fought like what, once every year seems like now.
Basically, yeah.
Shout out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that was an okay fight. I mean, I'm glad that we saw that fight, but that main event you talked about, where do you see Limo's fight going now? Because Jen Robot just showed me something where that armbar came out and how she got that armbar, Josh. I was really surprised how fast she got that armbar in that kind of move, that on that ground. What do you think?
I mean, simply playing, her ground game's not good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it boils down to she has a glaring weakness. She's 37 years old. Granted,
Yeah.
for women's MMA, 37 isn't terrible. Like it would
Mm-hmm.
be like it was for men. So like what, there's been plenty of women who fought in their later 30s who've had success. So it's not the end of her career per se, but yet still, like I don't know, like how many times can you teach a dog new tricks? Like
Exactly.
before, she's not her first time getting submitted, her first time getting
Mm-hmm.
dominated on the ground. So I mean, she got dominated in the championship fight on the ground. She got
Mm-hmm.
dominated on the ground versus Jessica Andrade. Like she just got dominated again. It's a glaring weakness. She has power. We know she can knock people out,
Mm-hmm.
but who cares if they could just take you down and bully you?
Agree. Where do you think she goes from here? I mean, it was basically a 2-3, ranking fight here. How far do you think Lemos drops down in the category? I mean, is she out of title contention now? And on the opposite side, where does Jandiroba go?
I mean, at 115, I'm not going to say you out of the title contention because, I mean, granted, there's the 115 is the toughest division in women's, but yet
Yes.
still, there's a lot of inactive women at 115. Like
Mm-hmm.
Rose literally has been bumping up to 125 and been 115.
Yeah.
We don't really know if she's going to fight back at 115 or she's going to go to
Mm-hmm.
125. We don't know. We already know about Tatiana Suarez. Like she's unfortunately she's dominant cruise of women's. Like
Yeah.
she's unfortunately cursed. So we don't know what's happening with her. So she's never too far out of title contention. She's too talented. She hits too hard. And she's a fun fighter. So I mean, realistically, she's there for the taking. It's just she has to put some wins together. And she has to show, I think, UFC brass that she's improved on her takedown defense. Or at
100%.
least competent on the ground and not get submitted or beat up.
100%. I agree with that. Can anybody beat Zelly Wang in this division?
Yes, absolutely. Tatiana Suarez is the person who could beat anybody who's ever existed at 115. She is so talented, so tough, so good, and she's unfortunately has literally gotten the worst luck when it comes to career. I mean, having a cancer scare and then also having the neck issue, and then I think she had a knee issue. There's so many issues she's had in her career. She had to fight through. She's probably one of the toughest people we'll ever know.
Mhm.
realistically, for all the stuff she's had to endure. And if she wins the championship, I don't know if you've seen her documentary. I've seen some of it. I haven't watched. I need to finish watching it.
Mhm.
But like, her story's crazy. She's such a dog. But she's very capable of beating Wei Lee, or she can get whooped because she's just so inactive. But I always viewed her as the Khabib of women,
Yeah.
and given the opportunity to actually show her skill.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the thing. Coming from, just like I said, I have to watch that documentary. I didn't get a chance to see that as well. I'm going to look up that as well.
I think it's
But
called Unbreakable. Pretty sure.
Unbreakable. Okay, I'll look that up. Definitely want to see that one. Yeah, because I like seeing behind the stories. Of the person itself, not the fighter, the person of what they go through on a daily day basis. Because everybody sees a warrior, but they don't know how they became a warrior in real life. And aspects of that. So I'm definitely going to watch that one. But Gender Ruby, do you think she could beat? Do you think she could beat to get the title actually? Because I don't think she can, honestly.
I'm sorry. You say that one more time.
Jandaroba, do you think she can contend for the title?
Yes.
You think she can? Okay.
I will never say ever again that a person is not capable of winning a championship. I've seen Michael Bisping win. I've seen Sean Strickland win. I've seen I've seen some crazy. I mean, freaking GSP got KO'd. Okay, by by Matt Serra, and that should have never happened. So, like, realistically, yes, she can win a belt. She's coming to, and then here's the thing. The most important thing is sports in general is all about momentum. A person has momentum and that confidence in themselves, they tend to do the unthinkable, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all can soak up some type of energy and some type of like God willing strength that can have us do the things that people never thought we could do. So I would never say that she's not capable of winning a championship. I think that would be a very ignorant thing on my part to say. Would I favor her to win versus Wei Lee? Hell to the no. I don't think that she's good enough personally. I think that on a skill level, Wei Lee's just a little bit of a different level than her.
Yeah.
But she's a dog, man. She's tough. She's gonna mix it in. And to be honest with you, like Wei Lee, while she dominated her last fight versus Lemos, she did struggle a bit in the stand-up department and was getting a little bit. And I was a little surprised by that.
I agree with that one. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, this card here, Josh, what do you give this card? Because the prelims, I'm not even going to talk about the prelims. It wasn't even anything to be thought of there. But the main card, what did you give it? I was kind of surprised. I mean, going into this event here, I was thinking like maybe, I never give anything a D or a F. I won't do that. I was thinking maybe a C, C plus would be the best. But what was your grade for overall for Vegas 94?
I thought it was an A.
I did too. Yeah.
Like, I mean, realistically, like for a card that I wasn't interested in, and I did watch. Like, I mean, I watched just because I know I was gonna have to talk about it on Monday. And also, I do love fights, but realistically, like I had three things on. Like I had the WNBA All Stars on my TV.
Yes.
I had on my laptop. I had the UFC fight. Then I had the Jake Paul undercard on my phone. So I was like literally doing three things. But that was pretty much my value of care. I was like, I actually really wanted to watch the WNBA. It's a really good game. Then I was like, I guess I'll watch UFC. Let's put that there. Then third, I was like, I don't care anything about the Jake Paul fight, but it exists. I know I'm probably gonna have to talk about it, so let's go ahead and watch that too.
Well, since you mentioned it, let's talk about this real quick. First, I want to, before we get into the fight, Josh, what do you think of Jake Paul and this, boxing, his career? What do you think about him, the person in the ring first, before we get into the fight? Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'll say this first before I say anything negative about him. Jake Paul is a crazy white boy that has genuinely, legit, I have respect for. Like, I have a lot of respect for what he's doing, just because he's playing the game so smart. He's actually, he has balls of steel, to even get into the ring and do something that he don't have to do. Brother's rich. He's been rich. He never had to step a day in the ring. He did it for craps and giggles. He just was like, I'll do it. Yeah. And showed that I'm actually decent. I can actually knock folks out. You have to respect what he's done. And I do. That is the most positive thing. I have a lot of respect for what he's done, how he's milking this, and even now has his own fight promotion and helping other fighters make money, including Amanda Serrano, who deserved the money that she's now making her a millionaire. So a lot of the shtick and some of the stuff I don't necessarily bang with when it comes to Jake, because he's a bit of a fraud as far as what he tries to portray. However, what he's actually doing, the things he's actually doing, I fully respect, and he has balls.
I agree with you. Just like in wrestling with Logan Paul there, why is he wrestling? He don't have to do this. He's a millionaire. He has his own drink,
Logan's
brand.
good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this Paul name, it shows you he's a technician in the ring. He's a showman in the mic. This kid is a natural. He had me sold when him and Ricochet met in the middle of the ring on that pay-per-view. I heard that thump, and I'm like, this dude is legit. This dude is really legit. Yeah. It goes to show you that these
talent, like no joke, like when it comes to Logan and wrestling, I was so shocked. I'm like, brother, how are you this good? Like wrestling is not an easy thing. Like people don't understand. Wrestling is like, yes, fake this, that. Wrestling is so tough to get right and be good at it. There's a reason why there was like a fall off with wrestling where people just didn't care about it no more. Because being good on the mic is not something that's just easy. Some people either got it, you don't. You can either be The Rock or you're not The Rock. You can either be Stone Cold or you're not Stone Cold. That's not nothing you could take classes on. That's just who you are. And for you, and then in-ring performance, you could train as much as you want. You're not going to be Shawn Michaels. Right. You're not going to be Bret Hart. Like you have to like legit have these kind of talent for him to come in just off of like, I'm rich and I can join it. Floyd did it. Snoop Dogg did it. A lot of celebrities did it, but I'm actually going to be great. Like that's, you got to, once again, the Paul brothers have my respect.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, going into it, like, this is a fiasco. It's ratings. I mean, it's views, whatever they want, but most fighters go into this with one thing. I'm same way, Josh. If I can make some money, I'm going into it too, if I can do it. You know what I mean? But they don't need that aspect. But getting to this fight here, how did you see this fight? To me, there was maybe a time where I thought Perry might have a shot here if he lands one, because Paul looked a little bit gassed to me. He really did going into this here. A couple rounds. He looked a little wobbly at a couple seconds, I want to say.
I mean, if you want to break down that fight, I mean, I was surprised that Mike Perry was bad as a boxer as he was.
Yes.
I have not seen, granted, this is off my ignorance. I have not watched him at bare knuckle at all.
Me either.
I'm not much of, there's only one person at bare knuckle brawl that I would ever watch, and that is Kerry Caprio. And that's because that is literally one of my really good friends. And he's the only person I watch. I don't watch.
Yeah, the only one I ever watched was Patrick Brady, because he's from Philadelphia and I know him personally. And he's over too. He's trying to get into the UFC. There's a rumor, because they did mention his name, trying to go over to a UFC if he gets the contract. But I'm the same way. I haven't watched a lot of bare knuckles of myself either.
It's not my interest. I don't care about it, to be honest with you. But I support it because one of my really good friends is in it, and he's ranked pretty high, and he's hopefully getting a title shot after his next fight. So outside of him, I'm not interested. So here, I know Mike. One thing I do know is Mike Perry found a lane, and he's been winning. I think he's undefeated at bare knuckle. So I automatically assumed like that bare knuckle brawls is somewhat of boxing. So I just assumed. I know it's not the exact same. I know it's a lot more physical as far as like you can dirty box and stuff like that. A lot more into what you do in regular boxing. But I thought that he would make it ugly, be aggressive, and make it super dirty. That's what I thought. What he did was keep his hand down, stay in range, and get lit the hell up by Jake Paul.
I mean, I heard a lot of the announcers, I was watching it from a different program there, and they were saying, it's just like you said, bare knuckle, they mentioned gloves. And I mean, I understand the gloves. You're not wearing gloves. You're wearing, certain kind of gloves in bare knuckle versus this and that in UFC. But I agree with you 100%. The way he conducted himself in this fight, every opportunity that Paul wanted for this, a jab and uppercut was there, because my man just had his hands down like, okay, come on, hit me. I'm stronger than you. I fight bare knuckle. You don't. I can take it. I got a chin that's rock hard. And it didn't seem that way. And he got gassed too. He really did.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people always like want to like talk about the hands down thing, which is fine. But here's the thing. Putting your hands down is not necessarily a bad thing if you have head movement, if you know how to fight with your hands down. I mean, Roy Jones had his hands down and knocked somebody down. Yes. I mean, like, we've seen it on several, like in UFC, we've seen it in boxing. Like Manuel Augustus had his hands down often, and he would still get W's. Like, as long as it incorporates with your style of not getting hit clean, you're fine. Mike Perry doesn't have head movement. He was square in his stance. He was literally there to be punched. So it's one thing to be a punching bag. It's another thing to have your hands down. So I don't like to critique necessarily his hands were down, but if you're going to be square like that, yes, your hands need to be up. But work on your head movement. And it turned out to be a payday for Mike Perry.
Sure did. Yeah. I mean, the word that I said maybe like 5 or 6 times when I was watching the fight. I was like, just like you said, it's okay to keep your hands down if you have the head movement to, to wave your way around the punches either way, right or left, whatever. But my man was a statue. He just stayed straight up, just like, I'm on a pedestal. Here you go. Here's the prize. Go ahead. I'm not going to worry about it. I can take it. And that wasn't the case. But John, I want to ask you something. At the very end of the fight, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't ever see this happening. But there was a name mentioned that he wants to fight next from the UFC.
So before we even talk about that, let's talk about Jake Paul's performance real quick, because we talked
Okay.
about Mike's
Okay.
was, like I said, subpar. It was terrible. Let's talk about Jake. Now, I think that we have now understand that he's plateaued. People are going to want to hype stuff up, but I personally think that we've seen the best of Jake Paul. Jake Paul took on boxing, and this is as good as he's going to be. He's not going to get any better. And if he does get better, it's not going to be by much. We know what he is. He's not a power puncher that people try to make him seem. Yes, he TKO'd and he finished Mike Perry. We also have to remember that he's like 30 to 40 pounds heavier.
Yes.
Weight class matters, okay? We got to put that in perspective. Mike Perry fought at bare knuckle at 185. Granted, he's not a 185 pounder. He's a 170 pounder. And he's only fought at 170 in the UFC. Bare knuckle, he found a lane. He fought a good portion of his fights at 170. Then he bumped up to 185. He's barely a 185 pounder. Now you're telling him to go to 200 pounds where Jake is literally cutting. We saw him literally
six times.
Yeah. And he's also had to strip down to even make 200 for this fight. So he's clearly the bigger guy, he's taller, bigger, stronger. So we've noticed a trend. He's knocking down or knocking out guys that are small. Tyron Woodley, 170 pounder.
Yeah.
Like Ben Askren, 170 pounder. Anderson Silva, he knocked down. I think it was more of a flash knockdown. I really don't think he hurt him. I thought Anderson exposed himself. He just got chinned and then he got back up. But yet and still, we'll say he got dropped. But 185 pounder. He's fought at 200 pounds before. So I'll give him a little respect with that. But even still, even outside of just that one punch that knocked him down that never really hurt Anderson, he didn't hurt him the entire fight. We've seen him fight Nate Diaz. Didn't really hurt Nate. I mean, he popped him a bunch of times, cut him up, but couldn't even drop Nate Diaz, who's a 155 pounder who also gets worked at 170. This power is not really, it's okay. It's nothing game changing. And we know that if he fights at 200 against a real 205 pounder, the knockout threat will not be there. It's just like Teofimo Lopez. He was knocking everybody out at 135, at 130 or whatever it was. He went to 140. He has yet to get a knockout. Like, that's just how I feel like when it comes to Jake. It's not really that powerful. Then second, he has cardio issues. He doesn't have good cardio. He gasses out. He was gassing after the second round. And he did pick up some steam towards the fourth and fifth where he had a little bit more energy, but even still, mouth breathing, backing up, tired. He does not like to go backwards. And when he does go backwards, he's very predictable. He has the left hook. He throws left hooks every time. He throws check hooks. That's all he has. And that's when I know he's tired. When he's tired, he backs up and he just throws check hooks to get you away from him. And the fact that nobody sees this yet, but I'm not surprised because none of these guys are boxers. He fights real boxers like Atomic Fury. They'll expose that and they'll pick them apart because it's very predictable. So Jake honestly for people who are probably going to size his performance, I honestly was underwhelmed.
I like that evaluation that you said. I seen the lack of gas there. When somebody can stand toe to toe and put pressure on him, there's a little bit different side that you see on Paul's, aspect of fighting there. And I agree with you. There's a lot of weight behind his punch at 200, fighting these lesser, weighted fighter contenders. But before we get to the name that I didn't mention yet, how do you think he matches up with Tyson? Because Tyson at that age, Tyson still has that head movement of what I see. And he ain't going to stand there like a statue. He's going to throw, he's going to move, and he's going to get his hits in. How do you see this? Because I don't know what Tyson's weighing in at right now. Do you know what he's weighing in at right now, Josh?
I mean, I would imagine he's over 200. He's probably at like 215, 220.
Okay. Now, is this going to be like a catch weight, or is it going to be a certain where I can see Paul saying, "Oh, you need to cut down. You need to cut down and be at 205. To make that Tyson fight objectable fair."
You need to let that man fight at whatever the hell he want to fight at.
Exactly. He's earned it.
Who's going to try to drain an almost 60-year-old Mike Tyson, who literally just had to pull out of a fight because of health issues? And he also was on a cane and walker, like actually probably still to this day. Like what are we doing? Like, that's just stupid. Like, but yeah, then how I think Mike Tyson's going to I feel bad for Mike Tyson, and I unfortunately don't know what's gonna happen. Realistically, a fundamentally sound Mike Tyson will beat the living crap out of Jake Paul. However, we're talking about a man who literally had to pull out from an injury that has to do with him being old, and then him also having back surgery years ago. Like, not even like, when I say years ago, I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I mean like 3 years ago, and had this man on crutches and also a walker. We don't know what to expect when it comes to it. Like, it's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings if Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he's gonna have to turn full heel because people are gonna hate him. People are obsessed with Mike Tyson. They love Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is their hero. To see an old man get whooped when we know if they were the same age, Jake Paul would die.
Yeah,
it would hurt people's heart personally, and I don't want to see it because I just think it's dangerous, and I don't know how they sanction it personally.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I just, like you said, you clearly said it. I was a Tyson guy. I was in Japan when he fought Buster Douglas and lost. I actually cried as a young kid during that time. But I understand what you're saying there, Josh, because I'm living the old Tyson here. Going through back surgery myself. I've had it 10 years ago, and he had it 3 years ago. His age, of course. You're right. If the age was exactly the same, there was no issues, I would probably put this under 30 seconds. Tyson, unanimous knockout right away, first round. But I'm giving him too much time on that one, probably there. But yeah,
running that for the other 25.
Let's go back and run for 25. Put a show on, try to run there. But I don't know what we're going to get into. I don't understand, honestly, who sanctioned this fight, how they sanctioned this fight, because there's no way. I mean, we've seen fighters with a nail cut get not sanctioned for them pull out a fight, and Tyson is just, I hate to say it, but it's like having 2 feet in the grave, ready to jump in the grave for your final viewing. That's what Tyson is right now. But I don't know, Josh. I don't know really what to expect. But the other name I want to mention, Alex Pereira. What do you think? Will this ever happen? And what if it did happen? What is your thoughts?
I think that it will never happen.
I agree.
I would love for it to happen. I think the UFC should do it personally. I understand why they don't, because there's not too much to gain from it. But however, like, you will make money. Like, that's the first thing. It will make money. Alex Pereira is slowly but surely becoming the face of the UFC with all these last minute decisions, and also not decisions, but these last minute villains, and him knocking everybody out. Like, here's the thing. Let's say this, for example. Let's say he fights Tom Aspinall for the interim belt. Let's say he wins. Let's say he knocks him out. Why the hell would you not book that? You have a 3-division, only in first, 3-division world champion going against Jake Paul, who, whatever you want to say, still will bring tickets in themselves. Brother, it's not going to do Floyd numbers, but it's going to do Canelo numbers. Like, it's going to do mad numbers. And how I see, like if there was the fight, Alex Pereira should knock him out, realistically. Like, people, like, he's not a boxer, he's a kickboxer, but we've seen him box, I've seen him spar, and it's the same issues. Like, he keeps his hands down, he is the target, he does get clipped, like, he will get clipped because he keeps his hand down. He likes to stay in range, his chin is like just there to be taken. But I've already told you before, Jake Paul does not punch hard when it comes to guys his size or bigger. He's fighting somebody taller, somebody's bigger, way bigger than him. It's probably going to be 20 pounds heavier. And also is going to be lankier and is more skilled and packs more power. He's knocked out guys bigger than Jake Paul. He's knocked out guys better than Jake Paul.
Agree.
Nothing in my bone that would say, like, it, and it will be fun because I think Jake will land and it will be fun to see. But I don't see Jake Paul winning that fight.
Me either. I would love to see it happen, but I don't think it will ever happen, because unless, just like you said, there is that extra belt that he's carrying, that would be just a spectacle. First time ever versus the billion and billion Mr. Paul viewership of subscribers, whatever we want to say. That would be insane. But one thing I want to mention, I did not know this. Conor McGregor actually owns part of the Bare Knuckle Association now.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
Did you see the tweet that he put out against Perry? I don't know if it's a joke or not. Did you see that?
Yeah, of course I did. Conor McGregor's, no joke, pound for pound, Conor McGregor's top 5 funniest dudes.
When you seen it, Josh, what did you think when you seen that tweet? Because I was like, is my man being serious or is my man being just a comical? I had a little too much proper 12,
It's
whatever.
actually hilarious, and he was he was just talking junk. It's Conor McGregor.
Yes.
But what's funny? Did you hear what Mike Perry said?
No, I didn't even see it because I think I was just like, I'm done. I'm done for the day.
It's hilarious. Mike Perry was like, "I'm also part owner of Bare Knuckle Brawl, so you're not going to be able to fire me, brother. Like, we both own part of the company." So,
Oh man.
yeah. So it was pretty funny, but nah, Connor's funny. Like I thought what he was talking about with Jake was more funny than what he said about Perry, but
Yeah.
it was still funny.
It was. I mean, he's a showmanship, in and out of the ring. He knows what sells, what gets views, and he's just so hilarious there. But how about we move on to something we have this weekend? UFC 304 here. Josh, before we get into the fights here, just by looking at the main card here, what are we giving this grade? We also talk about grades. What are we looking at right here? What grade are we giving this even before it happens, even before we talk about it?
I mean, realistically, we got to get this card an A, man, because of the last few cards we've gotten. This card is great. Like a very good card. At the end of the day, when they're in England, they always want to put on star-studded cards. They don't ever disrespect. There's certain areas they don't disrespect. Abu Dhabi's one. England is another. They just know that if we're putting a show here, we have to put on a really good show. So this fits the bill. I think there's a lot of quality fights. There's some fun fights in the main card. I mean, not main card. Some fun fights in the preliminary card. The main card is stacked.
It is. It definitely
Every fight has my interest for multiple different reasons. So, I mean, I can't wait to watch this. This is finally. And it's weird saying that because 300 was what? 4 months ago?
Exactly.
We're finally getting a card, a main card, like literally from top to bottom. That's like, yes, come here. And the last card could have been, but unfortunately we had injuries. This card we're finally getting. I'm so excited for it. Each fight is going to be good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't wait for this card. My fiance Katie, she was like, "We're going out to dinner this week on Saturday, right?" And I was like, "When this Saturday?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What time are we going?" She's like, "Right around 8." I was like, "Oh no, we got to go like 5 o'clock so I can get back and watch this main card." She's like, "You've been saying that it's not really spectacular." I'm like, "This card is worth the money that you're paying." So definitely, yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Allen fight first. I mean, that's good. That's on the card there. That's the early fight there. What do you think about this fight here? I mean, Arnold Allen 19-3, Giga is 15-3. How do you see this fight playing out? Allen has 2 losses coming into this fight.
I think that this is going to be fight of the night. I think that this is the smart fight to make as your prelim. You have 2 guys that like to strike. They both pack power. They're both are very fun. I think they both could improve on their defense, and someone's going to go down. Like, I mean, you have the hometown that's going to be going crazy. For Arnold Allen. I don't know. I'm not going to say this is his first fight, but I would say that this is like probably his biggest fight that's going to be in England. So, I mean, coming off a 2-fight losing streak, but I mean, you look at the names. He lost a good fight. So, I mean, and then also, he's lost to some very good guys as well. But at the end of the day, I don't care about any of that. I don't care. These are 2 ranked guys. It does matter in the featherweight division because it can put both of them in the right direction. And most importantly, the styles are styling.
Yes.
Okay. They fit. All right. It fits for a great fight. And I cannot wait to see it. I think that if you want to go all paper, Giga should technically have the advantage. But I'm rolling Arnold Allen, man. I think that with the crowd on his side, I think that the combinations are going to be able to get Giga the pressure. More importantly than anything, I think the pressure is going to affect him. Arnold Allen is definitely not going to be on his back foot. If he does, he will get picked apart, by the way. Giga will stays on the back foot. If he stays aggressive and in his face, I think he will actually be able to get a stoppage within the first 2 rounds. I'm going to say second round, first minute and a half of the fight, he's going to get it with a barrage.
Wow. Are we going to talk about 30-piece combo here? I mean, are we talking about that kind of explosion?
Don't do that. I ain't going to disrespect Arnold. I say he has a little bit more power than that. I say he's going to get him out of there, though.
Wow. I do agree with you. I think he has the opportunity to win this fight, but I'm going to roll the same way with you. I think in a hometown, you feel that adrenaline. I mean, they know how to put on a show over there. And I tell you what, I watch a lot of, wrestling just like you do, Josh. And I tell you what, when they're overseas, that crowd is so hyped. I think they're the best crowds in the world opposed to United States fans, in a crowd. I think he's going to get behind it. I think he pulls this out. I don't think it's going to be in the first 2, though, Josh. I'm probably going to go 3rd round somewhere, middle range 3rd round. I do think it goes over 2 rounds, though. I do, because these boys can get after it. I mean, last 2 fights, unanimous decisions on both. Allen lost his 2, but Jigga won one, of course, against Carreras and lost to Qatar. But I think they can go the distance. I think it's going to be a third round. I'm going to give the nod to Allen here, fighting third round.
Okay.
But you think this is fight of the night, huh? You think that?
Yes, I mean,
Dana White just writes that check.
The style's that, man. Like, if you look at, like, I'm interested in each and every fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that the one that will be most crowd pleasing to me fits more so with the first fight.
Okay. I like how you opened it up. You said this is I want to say early prelim to the main card. I think this opens up, gets the crowd hype. Hometown boy comes in here to set it off. Light the fire right there, and it's only going to set the tone for the rest of the fights here tonight. I agree with the 100% one there. Let's go on to the next one here. Mohamed Bakay versus Manel Kape. How do you see this one? I think we might disagree with this one, Josh.
So at the end of the day, this is once again another interesting fight. Very, very important to the title contention, by the way. Very, very, very important. We got Kape that literally is on a win streak, who's feeling himself, who's been very confident. Man, he's even been talking on a mic crazy. And I love when people talk on mic crazy and they back it up. That's my favorite thing. So he's been doing that. But he's fighting a Russian who is very dominant on the ground.
12-0, Josh.
Who's never lost. Who is very, like he puts you down, brother. Yeah, good luck getting up. So, I mean, it's going to be a very, very tough fight for Kape. And the thing is, he's like to strike. He likes to do crazy stuff. He likes to go for the flying knees and things like that. And granted, he's going to do those things. And I always like to say, if you're fighting a guy who likes to wrestle, the best thing you can do is I don't care if you land it or not. Show uppercuts, show knees. That is a wrestler's biggest fear. Because at the end of the day, you time that right, night, the fight's over. You don't want to end up like Ben Askren. So at the bare minimum, show your knees. So hopefully Kape does that. But if he doesn't, he's going to be in a long 15-minute getting beat up, getting controlled, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's where I'm going with it. I'm going to go, unfortunately, the basic route. It's hard to bet against these Russians, man.
Yeah.
And who likes to believe our wrestling is much better than theirs. Their wrestling is dominant, man. Can't hate it, can't deny it. They're very dominant. I'm going to go Mokov in 3 rounds. I'm going to say the decision.
After hearing you, Josh, I was on the fence with this one here. How it's going to play out. But I think you sold me on this one. I switched over this time because I can't disagree with you with wrestling here. I mean, these guys, there's a reason why people wrestle bears, Josh. You know what I mean? And this dude is just phenomenal what he does. I'm going to go the same way. Do you think this possibly could go to decision though?
I think it will go to decision. I think that if there's a stoppage, it will be Manuel that gets it. And granted, I'm not doubting that he can do it. Like, here's the thing with a lot of these flyweights, like, it's a little different because the athleticism and the technique is a lot better when it comes to 125. Like, these guys are just crazy, and ground control and getting out and scrambles are much more are easier to happen. Easier or more likely to happen. So it's very possible that Manuel constantly scrambles with Mokov and is able to get back up and to make this a stand-up war. It's possible. I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, more than I hear you talk about this, I'm going to go the same side as you are. I think, Mohammed does take this. I think it goes decision because a lot of times, Josh, we see ground control, grappling, time on the mat, control, wins matches. And if Kape can't get up and keep it on the stand-up, that's where he's going to fall short. And I think this is where Mohammed, because like you said, man, these dudes are crazy, man. These dudes are wild in the ring. They let it all fly. They don't care what they have to do to get the victory, either one way or the other. So I'm going to go there. I think it is going to be you think it's unanimous or split? You gonna give a round to Kape or no?
Unanimous. I think he's unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay.
Once he gets you down, it's gonna be. We already know.
Yeah. Agree. Okay. I'm gonna be a nice guy here, and I'm gonna give Kape a 1 round here. I think it's gonna go split. I'm leaning toward that unanimous now, but I'm probably gonna give him a split. So we'll write that one down there. Let's go to the next match here. Bobby Green versus Patty. How do you see this? Because a lot of people don't like Patty. First, what is your take on Patty?
What you call him? What you say? Patty
I
versus
call him Bobby.
That's not his name, man.
Oh, come on! You really want to call him that?
That's his name. That's legally that's his. For a person that changed his name, look, call that man by the name that he is paid for. Look, I'm like I said, for the people who don't know, my last name is Showtime. My last name was not always Showtime. I've legally changed my name, and I want to be called that. I want to be respected. Look, not saying you did that on purpose. I'm just saying, but because there's been some Twitter trolls out there saying I will never call him that. Well, you'll never meet him, and if you meet him, you would call him King. Because if you called him Bobby to be disrespectful, he will slap you. So. Good luck, tough guy.
Mr. Formerly Bobby Green, I apologize that I will let my co-host Josh introduce you by the proper name. Go ahead, Josh.
Just saying, we got King Green versus Patty the Baddie Pimblett. All right, the fight that I'm looking forward to the absolute most. All right, I do think the first fight's gonna be fight of the night, but this is the fight that I care about the most by far.
Okay.
And the reason why is simple. I think Patty's all hype. I don't think Patty's a fighter as everybody thinks. I think that this is the perfect guy to show me that either I'm right or I'm wrong. Because Bobby is not a world beater. He's not going to win a world championship, but he will tell me if you're real or not.
Did you just call him Bobby?
I said, his middle name's Bobby. So
okay. I just want to be sure. Okay.
Yeah. But even if I did, so excuse me, King. All right. So, but even the one thing we know about King is that his wrestling, his takedown defense is actually very good. Mm-hmm. Don't let the Islam fight make you think that his wrestling is bad. It's not. Right. Is it elite? No. But Patty's gonna have to sell out hard to get those takedowns. Stand up, it won't be a contest. Patty will get beat up very badly. Yeah. King will literally put his lights out if he tries to strike with him. He's too flat-footed. His strikes are wide. They take too long. They're slow. He's just not. He puts his chin in the air. If he tries to strike with Bobby, I keep saying Bobby now. Now he keeps striking with King. King will literally knock him out. So let's just go ahead and just say that he's gonna sell out for the takedowns. We know that's gonna happen, and it's all about if King can stop him. If King can stop him, he will win, and I think it will be by stoppage. But I can also see because while King punches, like he has knocked people out, I'm not gonna call him a humongous thumper. Like he's more of a volume guy, so I can also see him winning by decision. But Patty leaves his chin up so much sometimes that I think that King will literally knock him out. So I'm gonna go. It's gonna either be by first or second round. I know I'm doing these first two rounds, but I'm gonna say first round stoppage by King. King is gonna knock him out.
Wow. First, I'll start with Patty here. I think he's overhyped as well, Josh. I really do. I mean, to me, he's got a padded record, honestly. You look at these fights that he's been in, nothing really shows me that he should be where he's at, on this card here. The third basically pre-main event here is what we're looking at. But with King here, I'll give him respect. I'll call him King now. His last fight against Miller, unanimous decision. But going back to his last two fights, are we going to see a victim of what Jalen Turner did to him? Or are we going to see what he can do to like a Grant Dawson? What are we going to see from King Green here?
I mean, here's the thing: like Jalen Turner is one of the best 55-pounders in the world. Now,
right.
We're gonna his wins might not say that, but if you're looking at just straight film and watching him fight, talent-wise, he can hang with anybody at 155. That's not like Islam. Like Islam would absolutely destroy him. That's a terrible matchup. Everybody else would have trouble with him. He's just too long. He's too strong. His cardio is an issue. And his fight IQ. He's lost fights because of his fight IQ. Right. If he made better decisions in certain aspects of his fights, you can honestly say that you can argue that he would be undefeated at 155. So, I don't even like to look at that because Patty would get whooped by Jalen. Jalen will beat the crap out of Patty, and it would be ugly. So I don't even want to bring Jalen into that. You will see more of the Grant Dawson version because I don't think Patty is even close to a Jalen Turner when it comes to striking for sure.
Agree 100%. Now, I was looking at DraftKings, so I do place a lot of bets here. Is it crazy that they're putting Patty as the favorite here?
I thought King was a favorite.
I just looked at it yesterday. He's minus 110 yesterday.
Thanks for telling me. Now I'm about to put some. I don't even gamble, but I'm about to put money on King.
I looked at it. Yeah, I looked at it, and I
knockout. That's what I would put my money on.
I took Green right away because I put it. I don't bet it right away because I like to see, because Josh, we know as fans there might be a pullout. We don't know what happens. We don't know that. But I looked at it, I'm like, wow, okay, it's Green here is a definite favorite here. I definitely going to take that no matter what. Even if it's bad money, I'm going to take it because I think he's definitely going to win this. But then I looked at it, I think it was yesterday, and I think it was a patty was minus 110. It flipped almost 200 points from vice versa. And I was like,
because I'm about to put some money down because that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if it changed now. I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Is there something that we're not seeing? Like, like a weight issue here or something going on, camp wise? And I'm thinking like, wait a minute, this can't be right because
it's people falling into the hype. People believe that
it's Vegas money, Josh. It's Vegas money. Has to be. Yeah, because I was like, you know what? If I can get Green at plus, I'm taking it.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling confident who I'm about to play my bet on. I can tell you that right now.
I agree. I think it's going to be a Green here. I think it's going to be. I'm going to give it second round here. I think it's going to be a second round finish here. I really do. I think it's. I think this ends the patty hype. Honestly, Josh, I really do. A little bit to me,
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, let's move on to it, Josh. Let's talk about this co-main event here. I mean, the main event and co-main event. This is round 2, Josh. Round 2 here. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. How do you see this one?
I mean, to paint the picture for the people, it's really not a part 2. This is really the first fight.
True. Yes.
The first fight was unfortunate. Like, it was a terrible injury that Tom got. I will never forget it because I was actually in New Orleans with my family we was at Bourbon Street. We was having a good old time.
First of all, you remember the fight down at Bourbon Street? You remember this?
Well, here's the thing. I remember being super happy. I wasn't happy that the injury happened because that was right. I was happy the fight was over quick so I can go back to partying.
15 seconds.
I was trying to have fun with my family, but I just love fights so much. I was like, I need to see this fight. It's an important fight. This, that, and the third. As soon as something happened, I was like, dang, that sucked. I was like, I really feel bad for him. Then I got off the phone. I was like, let's go party. And I had to start partying and stuff like that. But, once again, it was very unfortunate. Yeah. But I'm glad they're running it back. We get to see what this fight really will look like. I mean, obviously, this is a classic striker versus grappler. We know what both guys need to do to win. Curtis, he has to take him down. If he don't, he will get pulverized in the 8th degree, and it will be on legendary. And then and then also it's really important that Curtis has the cardio for it because I've seen him gas out trying to grapple all the time. So it's a tough hill for him because Tom, we haven't seen it. He hasn't been in a 5-round fight, or we haven't seen him in 5 full rounds. But yet and still, we know that his power can still carry after the first round. So yet and still, it's going to be a heavy climbing for Curtis. I am actually going to go with him in the upset by saying he will win by decision.
Wow.
My thing is I like to look at cards and say, out of all these cards, who am I picking for the upset? Who I can see winning the most? And I can still see a path of victory from Curtis. I can see Tom Aspinall looking past Curtis, looking towards John Jones, being into the home crowd. One thing people don't realize is that being at home can be a positive or a negative. It's not always positive. Fighting at home is not always a great thing. Sometimes that makes you more nervous, well, obviously it's more nervous. It's going to make you honestly think a little bit too much, overthink things. I mean, you've seen Derek Lewis when he fights in Houston. He gets whooped every time. It's just never, ever a good situation for certain people. We don't know if Tom is that guy. And this is going to be a fight that obviously shows us what he's really like when he's in his home crowd and when he's fighting a guy who he should beat and honestly defending a title that he should have. So let's see how that looks. But I'm picking Curtis Blade. I'm going to say unanimous decision. Or actually, I'll say split. Wow.
Okay. My question to you before I'll give you my prediction here. Curtis Blades, his last 4 fights, win or loss, he's only been in the Octagon 4 minutes total in his last 4 fights.
Crazy.
That's something that scares me, Josh. I mean, that cardio we talked about, can he last? Josh, this is a 5-round fight.
I mean,
can he go 5 rounds? I mean, Josh, his last 4 fights, 4 minutes totals, 3 wins, 1 loss, 4-minute total, Josh.
I mean, hey, we don't know. We have to find out. Here's the thing, though. Here's another beautiful thing. He very well could knock him out.
That's the thing. Yes.
It's not, and we have to remember, he's coming off a KO victory versus a guy who everybody was thinking was going to be a next contender. He knocks him out, and that it's also with him taking a shot. And we have to remember, Curtis does have power. Curtis can knock anybody out.
Yeah.
When I'm saying knockout, I'm not saying that he's going to knock him out on the feet. He can. don't get it twisted. It's heavyweight. All these dudes got power. But I'm more so saying he can knock him out on the ground. It just takes one elbow. It just takes one punch. And you
Very
go
true.
night-night. So look out. I'm just telling people, look out. Anything is possible. But I'm going Curtis Blades with the win, with the upset. And the whole crowd's going to be quiet.
Okay. Let me ask this. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to take Aspinall for the victory here. I think it's going to go probably, I'm going to say maybe third, fourth round. I'm going to go with the third round because I think if Blades comes out and he's over aggressive, that cardio is going to be in question to me until I can see that in that second round, if he makes it out of that first round with the stamina, that's going to make me feel the way I'm going to go toward the match because I don't know if he comes out full blast, Josh, if he can last that 5-round fight. That's the thing to me. I don't know, but it's very true. One punch, good night, Tom. It could be over with an elbow, a punch. And if he gets him to the ground, those hammers, man, that's a lot of weight coming behind those hammers.
Absolutely. I mean, who's to even say you can't get a rear naked choke? Like anything is possible in these jumps, especially the heavyweight division that I don't like. Like, I mean, like it's literally anything's possible, man. Like he can get slept in 30 seconds and I wouldn't be surprised. Like it's the heavyweight division. So
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, I want to see more from this division because it's the heavyweight. We both agree on the heavyweight division here. It's the lackluster, division of the UFC. I want something that I can just enjoy this fight. Give me something that I can enjoy because it's been a long time since I've seen something in the heavyweight division, Josh. Honestly.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Aspinall here. I'm gonna go third round. I'm kind of worried about Blades' cardio here, but with a heavyweight, man, one hammer can put your lights out in 30 seconds or whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna go third round Aspinall here. I don't think he overlooks this fight, for the John Jones or has Pierre in the back of his mind. I don't see that ever, thinking about that. So plus the hometown can work against you. But I think he builds that adrenaline. But it all comes down to that first round. If Blades can come out, maintain his cardio, I think it could be a different story going into second, third round. But I don't know. I'm going to go Aspinall here. But let's get to the main event here, Josh. Wow. What do you first? Bilal Muhammad, 23-3. Is he the hype that everyone's talking about first?
I mean, I'm be honest. I don't think there is a hype. People don't like Bilal.
That's what I mean. I want to be nice about it, Josh.
People don't like Bilal. Like they don't like him as a person. They don't like him as a daggone fighter. People don't like Bilal.
I was just trying to give a little respect and say,
I know. But I'm just saying, I like Bilal. Like
I do too.
As a fighter, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't think he's the most exciting fighter, but I don't think he's necessarily boring, like some people say. But he's definitely a decisionator for sure.
Yes.
But I don't think that all because you have a lot of decisions mean you're boring. Like Dominic Cruz is literally full of decisions, but I think he's so exciting to watch. Something's always happening. But Bilal, he's a guy that I like to describe that is very good pretty much everywhere. Like he's good. Like he has good takedowns. He has a good ground game. He has a good stand-up. He's not elite anywhere. There's no place that I would say this man is elite. He's one of the best in the UFC. If you know it, you know more about it in the MMA than me. I respect it, but I don't personally see it. He has really good cardio. Maybe you could say he has elite cardio. He has really good fight IQ. I think he knows how to get his wins and he has a really great feel for a fight. He knows where he needs to go to his wrestling. He knows when he needs to go to his stand-up game. Yeah. And I mean, you have to pay respects to that. And also, I got to respect the fact that he proved me wrong with the Sean Brady fight. I thought he would lose, and he beat the crap out of Sean Brady.
Second round, wasn't it? I think it was second round, right?
Breaks off of him, man. And I didn't expect that win at all. So, like, Bilal is the person that you constantly keep sleeping on, and the next thing you know, he's champion. And that's kind of goes with the point I said earlier to wrap this whole thing up in a bow. You don't know who's going to be champion. You can say certain people is not good enough. You can say it. Okay, Michael Bisping isn't good enough to be champion. He's a world champion. Sean Strickland isn't good enough to beat Israel. He beat him. Beat the hell out of him for 5 rounds. Okay. Or not the hell out of him, but he beat him up for 5 rounds. No one saw that coming. Like anything is possible when you have that momentum and that confidence. When you believe in yourself, anything. And Bilal believes in himself more than any other fighter in the UFC. He's been saying that he's going to be in this position for years. He's been calling out Leon out for years. He's been saying he's going to be champion. He's going to be one of the best for years. And we got to remember where he came from. He came from another organization, and he lost to Alan Jobain in the UFC. I think that was like his first fight. And he got dropped like 2 or 3 times in that fight. And look
Yeah.
where he is now. He believes in himself. He's tough. So I can't sleep on him in this fight. I may not pick him to win, but I'm not going to be surprised if he win. Who thought he was going to beat Gilbert Burns? Nobody.
That's the thing. Yeah, the decision there, I was like, okay, this is, you know what, Burns is going to win this fight. Even with the Brady fight, I was like, oh my God, you just proved something to me right away. I didn't have him winning this fight either, you know, going into that. But you what you said there, to me, I call him a very smart, educated fighter, is what he is. He knows how to win. He knows how to win the fight, Josh. But Leon Edwards, on the other hand, wow. I mean, I still remember the kick heard around the world, Josh. You know, I that would always be my name for him. The kick heard around the world. That was just amazing.
Things I've ever seen in my life. I still to this day can't believe it. This man was getting pulverized for 4. Like here's how crazy that situation is. Just even like not too far off topic. It's how crazy the situation is. If the referee never breaks up that the fight, Usman is probably still champion to this day.
Agree. I mean, I remember that fight, Josh. I was telling my buddy, I was like, you know, you go 24 minutes and 50 seconds of losing a fight, and in the last 10 seconds, you just got your paycheck. The kick heard around the world, Josh.
Crazy. It's one of the craziest comebacks in UFC history. That was amazing.
Yes. I couldn't believe it.
I wish I recorded myself watching that fight. You would have saw my mouth to my daggone chin. I mean, to my chin, to my chest. I was just sitting there like, everybody in the whole bar was just like, no effing way this is even possible.
Yeah. I remember that, Josh. I had about 15 people over watching that fight because everybody was like, Usman's going to dominate this fight. And I'm like, I'm like you, Josh. I always look at one fight. I didn't think Leon would win that fight, but you always take that dog just in case. And that last 15 seconds, I'm just like, my mouth was like down to the ground. And I was so quiet. Everybody was screaming. And they looked at me and I'm like, in disbelief, shock. Like you had to call 911. And I still remember Rogan Anik's face. I remember Joe Rogan. I thought he had a heart attack.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, everything about that night was
insane.
I felt bad because I'm a big Usman fan. So I felt bad for Usman, especially getting knocked out like that. But I was really happy for Leon because nobody saw Leon is on that same tier as the Michael Bispings, as the Sean Stricklands, as the guys you really thought was always to be a good fighter but never be champion.
Agree. Now, Josh, I got to go back and watch this fight. He did fight Muhammad. What was the no contest? What was that no contest?
Poked him in the eye.
It was an eye poke. Okay, I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was something different.
If I remember correctly, he poked him multiple times.
Okay.
I want to say he poked him once, and that one wasn't that bad. But then he poked him again, and that one was egregious, and he just couldn't fight again.
Okay.
But I will say before that Leon did drop him. I remember that. Leon dropped him in. Was it a kick? I want to say it was a kick, but I know he dropped.
I think it was.
And then he got back up, and then that's when he got poked. It was unfortunate. And also, if we remember, that fight was never supposed to happen to begin with. That was like a fill-in fight.
Yes.
Bilal had to fill in. I forgot who he filled in for, but that was like Bilal's opportunity to show that he was the real deal, and he never got that fight ever again.
Agree. I mean, you look at Leon Edwards, he had Kobe unanimous decision, Usman twice, a majority decision, first TK, kick heard around the world. Nate Diaz, unanimous decision. We know he can go the distance. We've seen that. And we know he's the fighter that can lose 24 minutes and 50 seconds into a fight and still win the fight with one kick. We know what he does. He's a smart, educated fighter. His kicks are insane. He's well-rounded. But Muhammad, man, I'm talking about everything he has to gain in this fight here. Really nothing to lose. He's what is he? Where is he ranked? I think he's what, 6th, Josh?
They got him 2nd.
Okay, I thought he was 6th. I thought he was lower than that, honestly. I really did. I thought he was lower than that.
That'd be super disrespectful if they had a man who hasn't lost a fight in like 10 fights beating him.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
It's a tough division, but it ain't that damn tough.
No.
He needs to be top, especially beating the guys he beat. Like, he just beat Gilbert and all them people. Like, he has to be top 3. Like,
okay.
And I'm trying to think who is Usman 1. Like, I haven't.
That's what I thought it was. Usman still 1 though. I think it was, wasn't it?
I mean, that's fair. If he's 1, he should be 1. But I mean, it should be 1, Bilal 2, and then I don't really care who you put 3. I mean, there's a lot of people who could fight for that 3. Some people might even put Kobe Covington there somehow.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was like, "Yeah, I'd put Covington 3 because he did go to unanimous. He did go the distance with the champ. Leon Edwards, of course, in the last fight. So I can see that too. But 1-2 is where I'm at. Usman, how do you feel about Usman being 2? Where do you see him at?
I mean, I don't know, man. I want him to make up his mind. Like, is he going to fight?
Yes.
If he's going to fight at 170, is he going to fight at 185? Is he going to retire? Personally, I think he needs to retire. I don't think there's anything good left in his division for him or this company. I think it's just going to be more knockouts.
Agree.
I think the time has passed.
Agree.
And I still think he's very good. Don't get me wrong. I think he could beat most of the fighters at 170 and 185. But you're like 38 now. I mean, go be a father, brother. Like, while you got your brain cells, don't be those people that stay into the UFC too late. Once again, when I say I like Usman, I genuinely do like Usman. Like, he seems like a really cool guy. I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying, getting off like the vibes and stuff like that. He just seems like a really good dude. I just don't want him to be that guy to stay too long and turn into a BJ Penn.
Oh, yeah. Before we give our predictions on this last fight, since we're talking about Usman, how do you feel about his brother who was on the prelims, Muhammad Usman? Josh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. I was trying to be kind, but thank you. Yes.
No, he's not good. He's not UFC caliber. He needs to be fighting at a regional circuit. There's nothing he's good at. I've seen him fight. I've seen him fight on Tough. I've seen him fight off of Tough. I've seen him like his regional performances. He's not good. Like, no joke. Not to be disrespectful to him. Once again, I like the Usmans. Like, they seem like good guys. But he's a football player. He fights like a football player. He does not fight like a fighter. He's not good at stand-up. He doesn't have good cardio. He doesn't even really have like power. I don't even. It's not even like power that you want to brag about. His grappling is bad. Like, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, how is your grappling so bad and your brother's Usman, who's literally Olympic alternate? Like, brother, like, you're the bigger brother. I know y'all was growing up wrestling each other. He grew up wrestling. I don't know. I mean, did you only play football? So you never wrestled with your brother? That seems kind of weird, because I mean, I don't have a brother. I do have a little brother, but I didn't grow up with my little brother. So if I did, I know I would be wrestling. Even if he didn't wrestle, I'm gonna wrestle him just because. Right. Like, I know you had to learn something. So it's just weird, but he's not good, and he's not really, honestly, good enough to warrant a conversation.
I'm glad you said that, Josh, because Thaney sucks is putting it kindly. I mean, this guy, just like you said, I watched him on Tough, and Josh, I'll tell you what, me and my fiance were watching the fight this weekend, and we always joke around. She couldn't even tell you what UFC stands for. That's the way she is. She don't even care. She don't even like anything. So we're sitting there, and I was like, "Hey, Katie, who do you think is going to win this?" She's like, "Oh my God, who's that big gun?" I was like, "Oh, that's Muhammad Usman." She's like, "He's going to kill him." I was like, "Not going to happen. Watch how he fights." Josh, you said it. The way he throws, he should have so much power. The way he throws his arms, Josh, it's just like you're in MMA 101 learning the fight here. I don't get it, Josh. I think he's done because, man, I'll tell you what, just like you said, having Kamar, your brother, who's a legend in the grappling, in the wrestling, and you can't grapple one lick. It just, and he's in your corner too during this fight.
He took the game. He took on MMA way too late.
Yes.
Unfortunately for him, because I think him and Usman are like 10 months apart. So they're basically the same age. They're like Irish twins or something like that. And, you can't be – everybody's not Daniel Cormier. And at least Daniel Cormier wrestled. Alex Mejia did kickboxing. They did some form of mixed martial arts being linked into MMA. He didn't. He played football. And that – trying to just go into UFC, the MMA, it's not the easiest thing to do. So that's what happens.
That's true. Yeah, he doesn't even warrant any more conversation there. I mean, I just want to get your take on that because Usman's a legendary name. We all know that, Kamara. But Leon, Muhammad, I'm sorry, you must played the wrong, jumped into the wrong sport here, brother, because you do not belong. You do not belong. But
I mean, he might have been great if he started, but it's too late.
Yeah. I mean, if I had a little brother, I think I'd be wrestling him too. Just, simple fact. I mean, that's what brothers do, of course, and especially if one is superior, I want to learn from that. Well, you want to get into it, I'm going to teach you, but it is what it is. But let's talk about predictions here. Main event, Muhammad Edwards. Josh, where are you going?
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. This is actually a fight that I had to really think about. Like, I
did too.
I can very well see both guys winning. Like, Bilal is a person who you constantly sleep on, but he still wins. So, like, I don't want to dismiss him. I honestly, I can never dismiss him until he's actually at the time where he's washed. I can't dismiss him by saying, "Oh, Leon's going to win easily. It's going to be a unanimous decision." I can't say that. I have to think. I have to actually evaluate how they look recently. What have I been seeing? And I think that even still now, with the confidence that I have that Bilal will show up and he will perform well, I think that Leon's confidence as champion is going to take him over. The confidence that he can go 5 rounds, confidence that he could beat the elite. He beat Colby, he beat Usman. Those guys were the border patrol of 170 for like the last 6 years. So like to be able to beat them and overcome them, it's kind of like Michael Jordan when he had to beat the bad boy Pistons. Like, all right, I conquered that devil, so now I'm going to dominate. I think that I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan. Let me go ahead and say that first. But I think that as far as confidence-wise, I think that can carry him over certain individuals. And I think Bilal is the individual that he will be able to, improve and be better. But when he fights like the elite of 170, when the Rachmanovs come out there, then it might be a little different. But I think that he's good enough, and I think he's better, and I think he's going to beat Bilal in a decision. And I don't think it's going to be the most exciting fight. I do think that he will be able to piece him up and then be able to outpoint him.
Okay, I'm going to go disagree. I'm going to go Muhammad here for the upset here. I mean, coming in there, I believe what he's going to do. This is going to be a technician fight. It's not going to be, just like you said, it's not going to be the most spectacular fight for the first time watcher. I think this is going to be a feeling out first 1 or 2 rounds. I really do. Just progressing what you're going to do with this fight. I'm going to go Muhammad here because I believe the hype. I don't even want to say hype. The man is real. I believe he's going to take it there. I think it's going to be a split decision, Muhammad. But I don't think it's going to be one of those fights where we're going to see a clear one side. Leon Edwards is going to suffice the kicking. Muhammad is just going to take him, do what he wants to do to him. I don't think that. I think it's going to be. What I really want to say is I think it's going to be a chess match, Josh. I really do.
I mean, it possibly will, but I don't think a chess match will bold into Bilal's favor. I don't think that that's the fight that's winnable for him. I think that if he tries to be tactical, he will lose. I don't think that that's his game. I don't think that's what he needs to do. What he needs to do in order to win is push the pace, stay in Leon's face, mix in his takedowns, and he's probably not going to get him because while I say he's good, you got to be really good, I think, to take down Leon. And we've seen guys who are pretty.
He's worked on that. He's worked on that takedown defense. I mean, with Usman, yeah.
You got to either set it up really well and not have that much effort, or you're going to have to really dig deep for those takedowns. And I do think that if mixing them up, making it dirty, and then being able to squeak by steal rounds, I think that's his best avenue. But I don't think that he's just going to be able to like out tactician Leon. I think that would get him beat.
Yeah, I do agree with that standpoint. Just like you said with Leon Edwards, his takedown defense. I mean, Usman he's never been taken down, and I think Leon was the first one to avoid the takedown with him or something like that. Where I think it was vice versa, but. I think if Bilal comes out in the first 2 rounds and pushes the pace, that will get him the victory there. I think he does. If he does it, I think he will get the first 2 rounds. But it's like you said with Leon Edwards, he's a technician. And we know when you go 24 minutes plus, into the late 5th round, and you can one kick and turn around. But I'm still going to go Bilal here. I think he gets that split decision. I don't know, man. This is one of the fights where you really got to go back and you really got to watch the matchups of previous fights. But I mean, when you said Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, Usman, the guard, the keepers in the last 6 years, I agree with that one. But what I've seen with Muhammad, Burns, Brady, I didn't think it was going to pan out that way either, Josh.
Hey, I didn't either. But at the end of the day, Leon's better than Sean, so it doesn't even matter when it comes to that. Leon will beat the crap out of Sean Brady.
That's very true. Yes. You're not making this easy for me, Josh. You're really not, man. That's why I love doing it because you put a different version in my head. Like, damn, I didn't think about it that way. Now that I see what Josh said, yeah, I see it that way. But yeah, I'm still, I don't know, man.
No, I mean, listen, I understand picking
it's
Bilal.
tough.
Like Bilal, it's a winnable fight. Bilal,
it is.
Leon is not like Leon's a good fighter. Like he's a great fighter actually, but he is still beatable. Like it's not like he's not at the precipice of like a Habib or or a John Jones where it's like I can't see anybody beating him. No, there's avenues to beat Leon. Like yes Leon beat Usman in the rematch. Usman was very gun shy after that knockout. That was not the same Usman I saw in any of his fights ever before.
Totally different.
He got dominated by Usman, and honestly, Usman kind of stole his will in the fight that he actually did win. He just got that kick. And then Colby, I don't know what the hell Colby did. Colby literally, that was the worst performance I've ever seen Colby fight. That was the worst Colby I've ever seen. And I was happy to see it. I loved every second of it. But that was the worst version. He looked awful. Like, all that. He was a guy that talks all that stuff to a girl, and then he only got 30 seconds for her. That's what he looked like when he fought, and I'll watch it again. I want to watch it again. But anyways, so it's not like Leon has literally fought like guys who are actually trying to take his soul.
Right.
Bilal's going to try, for sure.
Do you think he pushes the pace right away? Because I mean, Bilal has. I mean, he can show that dog. I mean, he can really do that. I think he has to, right?
Bilal has no choice. Bilal is going to be in his face from the get-go because he knows that's his path to victory. Once again, Bilal is smart. He's conscious. He knows what he needs to do. He knows if he stays on the outside and he just tries to, like, I guess have a point fight, he will lose. It's not his game. That's not where he's great at.
Okay. All right, so we gave our predictions here. I'm still going to go Bilal. You got Edwards. I think it's either way. I can see your point 100%. I might be flipping that tonight, the fight, of course. But Josh, what is the fight of the night? I know we talked about how we felt about these fights here. What is the fastest KO that we talk about tonight? What fight is going to be the fastest KO in your eyes, real quick?
I mean, it's definitely between the first fight, Allen versus Giga, and Patty versus King. Those two will be the fastest knockouts for sure. I could see Patty getting slept in the first minute and a half. Like, really, if he comes stupid, if he don't come in straight with the takedowns and he tries to go in there and he does his weird little barrage of hooks, he will get caught and he will get styled on. And Mr. King will just end up knocking him out.
Gotcha. Man, listen, I can't wait for this weekend because, like we said, we both said basically this is something since UFC 300 we've been waiting for it. We have a card that lives up to the potential, just a name driven. I hope this card stays. I don't want any issues coming up with now until everybody steps into the Octagon, of course. But Josh Aspinall, if he wins, now the John Jones thing, I don't know if he's getting community service. I don't know what the hell he's getting, going on with his legal situation. But will we ever see him in the ring? And what's next for the winner of this one here? Who does the winner go? What's that?
John Jones is not fighting Tom Aspinall. That's not happening. So I think we just go ahead and leave that situation alone. This is what John Jones is going to do. John Jones is going to fight Stipe. He's going to beat the hell out of old ass Stipe, who hasn't fought in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
He's going to beat him, and he's either going to do two things. He's going to either retire, or he's going to let Tom Aspinall fight Alex Pereira, and he's going to hope Alex Pereira wins. If Alex wins, then he'll fight Alex Pereira, and then he'll actually retire after that fight. But that is the only avenue. I don't see he knows that there's more to lose than gain versus fighting Tom Aspinall. Now, fighting Alex Pereira adds a lot because that's a 3-division world champion, and he doesn't necessarily have the full championship. So it would be an interim with him possibly making history and him knocking out Israel. Then he'll possibly have knocked out Tom Aspinall. Then he's already knocked out Jamal Hill, and he's knocked out all these guys at 205. And now you got one of the hardest punchers to ever exist in UFC fighting John Jones at heavyweight for the world championship to possibly make history. That is more of a story, and more people are going to tune in for John to fight him than they would Tom Aspinall. That's just a fact.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said there. A lot of my friends saying it's going to happen. I can't see it happening exactly like you said. I just don't see it. But, man, I can't wait for Saturday, man. I can't wait. Where are you watching at? Are you watching at the crib?
I'm watching at the crib, man. Look, wifey's due in a few more weeks. She's not leaving my side unless she has to.
I agree with you, man. Hey, first, Josh, I want to say, thank you for, of course, this week that we're doing this again. And prayers continue to you and your wife, man. I can't wait. Please let me know as soon as that baby's born. Prayers to you, of course. Yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait for you as well.
Sir, another Showtime coming in, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to meet her.
Definitely. So you will be having another, the predecessor of our show. When we step down, we will have your daughter joining the show when she's more than welcome ready.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Josh, where can they find you at, brother? I know where they can find you, but where can they find you at, my good man?
Follow me on all social medias at Josh Showtime, Papa Showtime, since I am a Papa. Anywhere on all social medias except for TikTok. I don't do that, so you won't find me. But yet and still, all other social medias, just hook me up. Just go ahead and follow me. I do follow back as long as you are not a troll. I don't follow trolls. Yeah,
I can't stand that, man. I can't stand that. We were up to like 8,000 followers on Twitter or X, I want to say now. Get the names out there, right? I do too. That's why you see at the bottom. I still got the Twitter logo, man. I'm the Twitter guy. That's what I am. But yeah, Josh, I appreciate next week we'll definitely do this next week because I want to get into how we predicted our fights here. But also, Josh, this week what I'm going to do is I'm going to message you one more time. I didn't write down your predictions on each fight. I am going to put on Twitter this week, X, whatever they want to call it out there for the namesayers out there. our predictions for each fight. We're going to put out there how it pans out. We'll have those reactions next week as well. But Josh, I appreciate you, brother, man. I just want you to stay safe and stay blessed until next week, man.
That's the same thing, man.
Definitely. My name is.
Some good fights happen.
Definitely. Please just keep the card the way it is. I'm ready to go for this week. I got the pizza ready, the wings ready. I'm sitting at home enjoying this fight. So the card, I want to say. But Josh, until next week, man. My name is Paul Spencer. That is Josh Showtime. This is Inside the Octagon on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, we're everywhere. Give us a like, give us a follow, give all social media accounts a follow. We will follow you back as long as you're not a troll, just like Josh said. Yes, but sir. Until then, Josh, appreciate you, brother. Stay blessed, and we'll see you next week.
Stay blessed, my brother, and I hope y'all good. Be safe.
Definitely.